Hi, I'm Kathy from Netcapital, and I'm going to walk you through our essential startup pitch guide. Let's start with why a strong pitch matters. A strong pitch serves three key functions, and the first is that it captures attention. Remember that investors hear hundreds of pitches, and so you need to make yours stand out immediately. And the second function is that it sparks interest. So your goal is to get investors intrigued enough to want to learn more. And the third is that it builds credibility. A well-structured pitch shows investors that you understand your market and your business model and the opportunity. And here's a pro tip. A pitch doesn't need to answer every question. It just needs to get investors to the next step. Now let's talk about the three types of pitches, and you want to have these ready at all times. The first is your elevator pitch. This is only 30 to 60 seconds. Literally, if you met someone in an elevator and they asked, "What do you do?" you would have to have a really quick and compelling answer. And the second type is the 4-minute pitch. And this is a little bit of a deeper dive. You want to dive into the problem and the solution and the market opportunity. And this is a great pitch to have ready for networking events or webinars or demo days. And then there's your 1 hour deep dive. And this really does go through the financials and the strategy and the growth plans. And this really is for more serious investor meetings where the goal is to secure an investment. And here's another pro tip, which is that you want each one to be compelling enough to lead to the next one. So now let's talk about the 5 key elements to a winning pitch. So the first is the problem, and you must clearly define the pain point you're solving and use data. So here's a great example. 90% of small businesses struggle to secure growth capital due to outdated banking processes. So what we've done here is we've made investors feel the problem, and it should be urgent or costly or deeply frustrating. And next, we're going to go into a method that we call twisting the knife, which is laying out the problem and then showing why existing solutions aren't working. So here's an example of twisting the knife. We lay out the problem. Millions of Americans struggle to access timely health care. The average wait time is over 24 days, leading to untreated conditions and higher medical costs. And then we want to twist the knife. And it's only getting worse. Physician shortages are expected to hit 124,000 by 2034, meaning longer wait times, et cetera. Patients are turning to ERs for basic care, increasing hospital overcrowding. You get the gist. So what we're really trying to do is really bring home and illustrate how bad the problem is. Now, the second key element that you must have in your pitch is your solution. And this needs to explain how your product or service solves the problem. And by the way, a great unique advantage is to say what makes your solution 10 times better. So here's a great example. Our AI-driven lending platform reduces approval times from 30 days to 24 hours, unlocking 10 billion in new business funding. So as a pro tip, don't just describe the features, but show the impact of the solution. Okay, so that's the solution. And now we're going to go into market and timing. And you want to show that you're entering a large growing market at just the right time. And you want to explain why now is the right time. So, for example, the alternative lending market is growing at 18% annually, projected to reach 300 billion by 2028. So the tip here is that investors want to see a big market, really a huge market with room for massive growth. And so the fourth element is why you or why your team. Remember that investors are investing in people first and the business second. So you want to highlight your experience, your expertise, and your execution ability. So, for example, our founding team includes former fintech execs who scaled startups to $50 million plus in revenue. And our pro tip here is not to undersell your team and lose investors. Make them believe that you're the right team for this mission. And then so our final element that we want to include is the investment opportunity. Remember that investors aren't just buying into your product, they're buying into a high return opportunity. And so you want to clearly state how much you're raising and what the funds will be used for. So for example, we're raising 5 million through a Reg A Plus to scale customer acquisition and expand internationally. And so the pro tip here is that investors need to see a clear path to return and always explain how they'll make money. So this brings me into our common pitching mistakes. We see this a lot and how to avoid them. So the first is people focus too much on the product. This happens a lot, especially with consumer products. Instead, what you want to do is emphasize the market opportunity, the scalability of your business model, and your path to revenue and profitability. Because remember, they're investing in a business, not the product. And the second mistake we see is that there's no clear call to action. Your pitch needs to end with a clear next step. So for example, we're raising $2 million. If you'd like to be part of this round, let's set up a follow-up conversation next week. Remember, you must have that follow-up. And then the third is the lack of practice. A great pitch takes repetition daily. So you want to test out your pitch with everyone, almost everyone you come into contact to, your friends, your family, your colleagues, because you want to get that feedback. And so let's go into our pro tips for pitching success. And the first one is pitch every day, every networking event, every coffee, every meetup. Every chance you have, you meet with friends. And the second is to prepare for investor questions. And we find that investors ask the same 5 to 10 questions all the time. And if they're frequently asking the same questions, incorporate it into your pitch. They'll be really impressed that you already answered their question. And the third is to master your body language and tone. Confidence sells, so speak slowly, clearly, and with energy. And that's it for our tips. Remember, if you need any help with your fundraise, we're here for you. Just get in touch at team@netcapital.com. Thanks so much.